All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's talk about Candace Owens. She did a video earlier today. Anybody know who Candace Owens is? Candace Owens. Candace. Did I pronounce that right? Anybody know who that is? She did. She released a video earlier today, and I thought we should talk about it. All right. I'm gonna react to it live with you. She was talking about Prince Harry and the whole coronation thing that happened over the weekend. That's Candace Owens. Yeah. What did you say? Let me see. Yes, Candace Owens is the born white girl. She is, huh? Right? Well, this time around, she's talking about Prince Harry. Prince Harry Prince Harry taught me about marriage. I added toxic feminism and red pill. Okay, and I think it's very important that we talk about it from that standpoint too. But let me just go ahead and play this video. Let's enjoy it together. Let's see what she has to say, and then we'll go from there.
Coronation as, in a word, I would describe the coronation as majestic. It really was. I understood very little of it in terms of why they were adorned in certain robes, what everybody was wearing. But it felt unattainable in a way that was inspiring. It was something to look up to. Obviously, I have said Kate Middleton looked absolutely gorgeous. It was so formal.
So let's be honest, okay? A lot of people enjoyed watching the coronation. I didn't, okay? The only thing I've seen around is whatever pictures posted on Instagram, all these short clips of it. I didn't, right? But it makes sense to me that people enjoyed watching. That's the whole point of ceremonies, right? Ceremonies puts extra, extra ginger to the events of life, and then it becomes even that much more important, right? And this monarchy, they're extremely good at that, right? So it makes sense, that she's saying that. I see a lot of people saying, yeah, those people did black. I understand that too, but that's not the point of this conversation today. Let's keep going, right? What she's talking about is that what Prince Harry taught her about marriage. And I'm wondering if I would agree with that. Let's see.
Right. And that is one aspect of English culture that I really love, that it's still very formal. And what was interesting for me was to see Prince Harry walking in. And obviously, this was a moment where the media, all of the cameras were on him because, well, obviously, he almost represents Americanism, right? This is a person.
Wow, he represents Americanism. Was he there with his wife and children? I doubt that. Remember, we've talked maybe a few times, 2 or 3 times about Prince Harry here with respect to marriage, right? So I wonder if she's going to agree or disagree with me. But was he there with his family? I doubt it.
That quite literally sold his family for money, put his family up and said, if you give me tens of millions of dollars, I will tell you everything that you want to know about my family, which is so horrific and is so backward.
Would you say that's accurate? Did he sell his family for money? Or it was all free? He wanted to free everybody, so he did it and told those stories in those books for free, right? Let me see what Natu said. No, he wasn't. Oh, he wasn't. Wait. He wasn't what? Was he there? He wasn't there with his family, right? Interesting. That day was his son's birthday. And what is that supposed to mean? What do you mean by that? Was his son's birthday and?
Stop the cap.
Is that the excuse for not bringing the kids or bringing his whole family? Right? At this point, let's keep going. Let me just keep going for a second here.
And when he walked in, I felt a tremendous amount of sadness for him. So let's just watch him walking in and you will see that he looks like a fish out of water. Take a look.
Damn. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Oh no.
And they'll be taking their places quite near the front of the
Abbey itself down near the coronation.
So you sort of see this for
That doesn't look good. It does look kind of sad. Okay. Listen, in your last show, in your the only thing that really matters in this life is relationships. Okay, that's it. I know you're like, oh, but we just covered that Sonia Lumelu story, and she completely he was completely a snake and stuff like that. Well, it depends. They might have an understanding of how the game works. Remember, right? But your relationships are everything. Okay, particularly family, right? Remember over the past few weeks here, we talked about people saying their wife is their family, your family, who is your family? The real issue is that why should you have to pick? Why should you have to end up in a position where you have to pick between the family you've always known all your life, literally your whole identity, and your new wife, right? Ideally, a new wife is coming as an addition to make the family bigger, not division. But let's keep going. Maybe I'm reaching, but it doesn't look good so far for him. This is a very important ceremony in the lives of those kids, and for some reason, this question, why were they not there, will continue to be a real question for the rest of their lives. Maybe not a big deal. Not to say, well, no, he did not. The guy is going through therapy and trying to heal, and that was why he spoke out. I know. I'm not judging him either, but there's a big old but. A big old but, right? I think we can agree that this is it's a complex issue. I think for all parties involved, this is muddy. That's muddy to say the least. Okay. Let me see. Let's continue here.
forced smile. He knows that he should smile because the cameras are monitoring his every move, and he doesn't have his wife with him. He doesn't have his children with him, which is already very sad because this will never happen again. To not have his children there to witness their grandfather's coronation is tremendously sad. They should have been there. Of course, his excuse is that it's Archie's third or fourth birthday, the birthday that Archie.
All right, wait. We can make another argument, okay? Let's call this, okay, this is a sad day. Which one is the Saturday? The day he found out that he can't feel himself, like he feels like, I already felt like a fish out of the water. I don't like the manipulation in this family. I don't like that I don't have my own freedom. I don't like that I don't like what I'm seeing that I've seen in this family my whole life, right? He could make an argument like that too. Like, I don't like this whole thing. It's always been sad anyway, so this is not really special that I'm here by myself. I'll still be here to honor the family that I still respect, but you calling this sad, like you don't know what my life has been since the beginning. It's been sad. What are you talking about? That's another argument it can make. So you know me, I will never come here and discount the significance of emotional emptiness, a sense of lack of fulfillment in the name of I need to be a part of this whole thing that everybody puts on the pedestal, right? You can make an argument. So Candace is making her own argument from how she sees things. She will never know what it felt like. But she's not. The fact of the matter, in terms of selling your family for money, yeah, we can't really deny that, because I see that Natu mentions therapy. Was the book therapy, or there was actually a couple of tens of millions of dollars that was collected for that? Well, he has to feed his family, a certain lifestyle, but it is what it is. I think it's much more complex than any one of us can just make any blanket statement around anyway, but it still looks kind of sad. This happens at every level. Eloping, I always discourage eloping because of short-term, quote-unquote, temporary feelings about a new romantic love, right? You gotta be careful with that. Because your sense of identity is greater than that. Okay? At the end of the day. So you might be able to pull it off. There are people that have pulled it off before. You elope with some boyfriend, you go marry, live happily ever after. But I'm willing to argue that it's a disaster for most people that do that. Why? Because of identity. This is all you've known. You will end up resenting that person you ran away with, right? I hope that's not going to be his story. I really do, right? We don't know what we don't know. Let's keep going.
She's never going to remember. And of course, they could have still celebrated his birthday and he could have brought his entire family over here.
So that's the birthday excuse, right?
It's Archie's third or fourth birthday, the birthday that Archie's never going to remember. And of course, they could have still celebrated his birthday and he could have brought his entire family over here. The real reason is that his wife feels uncomfortable because she's caused this fracture in the family.
She will feel uncomfortable. Remember, when you are overreacting, I'm not saying she did. I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to be on the fence, okay? I think she did in a lot of ways. When you're overreacting and you're pushing hard back against family, against your husband, against your loved ones, and you say, please don't take my children to this, don't do this, I don't want my children to do that, I don't want my children with those people over there because you're fighting them. That feeling is short term. Okay, you're literally sowing seeds of bitterness that you will have to harvest sometimes down the line, and you won't like yourself. You might end up not liking it. You might end up not liking yourself because you were operating off of short-term feelings. Very, 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 very important. Okay, let's keep going.
And that's kind of where I would like to comment. What I felt towards Harry, this tremendous sadness, is because one wrong decision impacted the rest of his life. I am a big believer that who you marry is perhaps the most important decision that you can possibly make in your life. And I caution men, when you marry a woman, that person should strengthen the relationships in your family, not fracture them.
Yeah. It's very important that I say this here. Shout out to Embassy. I was listening to a replay of Auntie B's show from the afternoon. She represented well. Sometimes you do have to back off when you can't see clearly, right? For example, Prince Harry, maybe he had to back off. It was too cloudy. Maybe he felt like his whole life was sad. So today is not. But the magnitude of that event last weekend, that coronation, the reality is that it's greater than his own life. That's just the reality. We're talking about nations upon nations watching that whole day. Only God knows how many millions of views, right? So it's very important that even if you have to back off of something, which I do encourage a lot, right? It doesn't have to be a permanent decision. I do encourage that you learn how to back off, not only from this kind of stuff, even from your wife, your husband. If you feel like things are cloudy, you can't figure yourself out, it could be just take a walk. It could be 2 days in the hotel room. It depends on how bad things are, right? It could be a few weeks. It just depends on how much damage has been done, or how much you feel like things are closing in on you. You feel like you're losing yourself or losing your mind, right? It depends. But the point I'm making is that it doesn't have to be a permanent decision. And if you're afraid of it being a permanent decision, maybe that's the actual problem. You need to find yourself. We're going to talk about find yourself here a little bit in another story here in a little bit, right? But it doesn't have to be permanent. You don't need to make permanent decisions, right? You don't need to say things that will remain permanent, that is documented for life. If you end up saying it, stop saying it, right? Just stop in this moment and stop doing that, right? The earlier you can stop, the better. Because I guarantee you the things you're feeling are all temporary in nature, right? It might mean permanent. Okay? Then so be it. It is what it is. Because at the end of the day, I will rather you choose self-preservation if it really gets down to that. But I'm telling you, your sense of identity is a lot. That's a big thing that will continue to haunt you for the rest of your life if you do something stupid, right? So I would be very, very careful to not miss out this kind of event. I will try my best, right? Maybe it's not a big deal. Again, only him knows, right? But this type of event only happens once every other lifetime. The last time that coronation happened was when his grandmother was in her 20s, right? Something to be careful about, And you may say, but it's just an event. Well, that's you saying that. Remember, this is what these people know. This is a big part of their lives, right? Maybe you're a teenager, you can't appreciate what I'm talking about right now. You might start appreciating it when you're 28. I'm just saying, if something seems too much for you, overwhelming, it's okay to back off. Don't make it a permanent decision. And don't be afraid that it could be a permanent decision. You have to be willing to walk away and mean it, right? Let's keep going.
Is a huge red flag if you start even dating someone. If you start dating someone and suddenly all of your friendships fall apart, okay, maybe it was time for you to grow up. You might be able to argue, well, my friends are still partying and I don't want to party anymore. Okay.
She's right.
But when your familial relationships begin to fall apart, that is when you should really be asking yourself a lot of questions. It doesn't make any sense. It would be one thing if you said, oh, it was just his relationship with his dad. No, it's every single person in his family. His relationship with his grandmother became strained right before her death. In many ways, he was stressing his grandmother out before his death because he was selling her life to the American press
she was an old
for
woman.
Profit because he didn't know how to make money. And his wife convinced him that he could nobly make money, that it was somehow noble to throw his family under the bus because, well, racism. It's one of the faiths in America, one of the pagan faiths in America. We celebrate this. We talk about BLM. We protest in the streets for this. So it's going to be great. And he did this. His relationship with his father fell apart. His relationship with his brother fell apart. His relationship with Kate Middleton, which was his sister-in-law, who he wrote and talked.
Listen, you don't want to find yourself in the middle of that, ladies. Okay. That guy is highly likely he will resent you later. Okay. It's just a bad idea. The timing is off. Let's say he was suffering all the while. Again, you're trying to be a captain, save a mill guess, right? Don't do that. You can't carry that weight. It's too much. Okay, it's not a good idea. If it was something he decided long before you or long after you, but not the same timing and everything is roped up in him trying to save you, don't put yourself in that position. This can happen at any level, okay? But the timing needed to be different. Because as you can see, they are helping them right now, right? Like to say, hey, she was the reason, she was the cause of all this stress, the stressed out relationship, right? Yeah. And you wouldn't want that to happen to you personally. Imagine somebody is dating your brother, your sister, and suddenly they are being isolated from everything they've ever known. You will naturally blame that person that just came into your lives. It's just the way it works. It's very, very important to just be aware of that. And if you feel like you're in love so much, you're willing to sacrifice all of that, hey, just be aware that it's a dangerous game to play. Okay. Well, in my case, my husband is good with his siblings, but one single person is recruiting the rest to fight me. We need to assess that properly. We need details. And I'm guessing we can't do that right now, right? We need some more details to that, But one single person recruiting the rest to fight you, they have to be able to relate to the idea of fighting you one shape, form, or the other. And that's something you need to identify, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be your fault, but that's something you need to identify to find out why is it that everyone is relating with this one single thing. What's it about you? And then see how you can flip that on his head. Yeah, sorry to hear that now too. I find it difficult to judge Ari because I haven't walked in his shoes. Yeah, this is what I said earlier, right? From the demise of his mom at 12, I admire him for standing up for himself and his young family. Yeah, I'm just trying to get us to see the long-term effect of it, right? In the short term, It makes sense, especially with our new age woke ideologies, right? Stand for yourself. Don't stand for oppression or anything like that. I get that. But we have to. We are getting to that stage where we need to be looking for a balance from the old into the future. You need to understand that we're coming from where we need to understand where we're coming from first, right? We're starting to get to that place. It's very easy to say throw everything you've ever known under the bus because the futuristic is the way to go. In the short term, that feels good. But I'm telling you, so many people are ending up resenting their partner because they are basically they're attributing the moment that person came to their life to when their life fell apart. And it doesn't make sense because you're like, but I was there to save you, to help you. You told me you were hurting. These are the kind of arguments that people be having in their family. I'm telling you. Okay? Welcome, Chinye. Welcome. Let's see. Let's get there. Yeah, when I just to get here, thanks to YouTube. Anyway, it really hurts honestly because my brother wife is gold to us. We have an amazing relationship, but you gotta pick it one layer at a time. One layer at a time. You gotta take your time and pick it one layer at a time. Lumping people together, that doesn't work too because it just get even more cloudy. But let's keep going with this video. Let's keep going.
Talked about in his own book that he had this wonderful relationship with fell apart necessarily because he even threw his niece in the book. He threw his niece under the bus, 3 years old, for throwing a
It's a bad idea to just throw everybody under the bus with a book. Okay? Let me tell you something. It's a bad idea altogether. I know it looks like, let me save myself from myself. The only thing that we value in life, I'm telling you, is our relationship. That's why people are hurting so badly. Just go and look at all the people that are hurting. None of it is happening outside of relationship. It's someone has to do with somebody's relationship, and oftentimes with self-sabotage, we just throw everybody right under the bus. Right? Just throw everybody under the bus because I am angry. I am so angry right now. Throw everybody, delete all that shit. In the short term, yeah, it'll feel good. In the long term, you're probably going to regret it. Okay? Anger is a bad thing. No, I don't want my kids going over there. Now your husband needs to disconnect from a few friends because somehow every time you're around and they're around you, there's this awkwardness and you guys can't figure it out. Right? But he's like, you know what? I gotta do what makes my wife happy, right? Don't be surprised if 5 years from now it becomes an argument between Una. And then he blames you for it. Please don't be surprised. After all, you were saving yourself. You were saving yourself, your own mental health. And I can't judge you for that. Right? But there's some things that you need to pay attention. They feel good in the short term. In the long term, it's a bad idea. One of them is operating out of your anger. Okay? Operating out of your own emotions. Everything is just, you can't even figure it out. You're just angry. Let's just, no, I'm not. Sometimes it looks like, no, you can go. I don't want to go over there. That's a bad idea. He will resent you. Because ideally, he wants one happy family. In the short term, he can see like, you know what? Yeah, I need to save my family. In the long term, when the dust starts to settle, maybe a different picture. And you need to be, I'm not saying you're not making the right move, you just need to be prepared for it and be willing to embrace all of the consequences that comes with acting out of your short-term emotions. Okay? And for the most of you, your whole life is ahead of you. These things will show up. Okay? It will. If not for you, for your children, there are going to be questions. Right? Does that mean he should have stayed and just punished himself? No, I didn't say that. I'm saying be aware of the consequences of short-term moves that seems like it's the right thing to do just be aware of them. Maybe if you are aware of them, you can reassess things a little bit better in a way that there can be some kind of balance, right? To me personally, my personal opinion, it doesn't look good. Okay, it just doesn't look good, right? It doesn't look good. Yeah.
Tantrum over a dress in the wedding. Absolutely no decorum and no respect for his own family. And here's what I will say. All families have issues. There's no way that you are listening to this episode and thinking, actually, no, everyone in my family gets along great. We all love each other. But it is not normal to take those issues and to publicize them, least of all for cash.
Exactly. There's dysfunction in every family. Unrealistic expectations. Manage your expectations. There are literally people overreacting for what they saw in their family, and they assume that the grass is greener on the other side. It happens at family level. It also happens in romantic partnership level. People literally exit their situation because the picture has been painted that is better on the other side. That grass is greener on the other side because somebody is watering it. Or what that show Bolara, they cover the secrecy of it, right? They cover it up. They covered, like, it's not perfect, but it's mine. I will cover it. It's called covering, right? And the way you cover it, or the way you guys cover it, is how people will see it and how people cover it. But if you say, hey, let me just wash all my dirty linen in public, is that how they say it? Right? People will see it accordingly, and then they will tell you just like, oh, I understand, you did what you have to do. They won't be there 5 years from now when you start to suffer from a disconnected sense of identity. They won't be there. And not to add, it's just the wrong foundation for a marriage. It's not marriage is already a challenge for a lot of people, obviously. You don't want to start with the obviously tampered with foundation all over the place. Yeah. Chia said, Ola, how can Ari even begins to fix himself? Oh, he needs to fix himself first. Self. And hope that's what he's doing. He needs to focus on himself. He needs to focus on himself. Candace is making some sense. I also agree with you, making a permanent decision with temporary feelings. Yeah, we got to be careful with that. It's okay to back off if you feel like you need to. You don't have to make permanent decisions within the period of 2-3 years. That's just, your whole life is ahead of yourself. Like, relax, take some time off, right? You're not going to be hungry because of your status, right? Printing books and throwing all families' names inside that book and all this kind of stuff, you wouldn't teach your kids to do that. You tell your kids, like, hey, calm down, easy. Oh no, don't tell me to calm down. No, you're the one on the outside of the forest. You can see a little clearly what's going on inside. Please, Joe, inside the house, say, I don't know how to say that in English. I'm sorry. Okay? There's no perfect family anywhere. It doesn't mean you should stay in toxic stuff. I'm just saying you need to know that first. And then you can now make a decision if, yeah, I know that, but no, I need to move. Then I can respect that. I'm not saying Harry didn't do that. I'm just bringing something to our awareness, basically. Good to see you, bro. Patrick, I see you, sir. Adebusala, good to see you too. Adebusala said, maybe his wife was not invited. Yeah, there's a reason why if that's the case, there's a reason. They were messy. Let's not say they were messy. It's messy. Let's just say it's messy, right? We're talking about everything that led down to here, right? And no, that's not me judging. That's me talking to you and say, hey, if you find yourself in a situation and say, hey, it's just bad, make sure you assess the situation. Is this really a do or die? Is this really a life on buy situation? Do I really need to make a permanent decision, or I just need a temporary relief? I need time off. I need time off. I need some time off to process. Like, I don't know what you. There's no way you can possibly know what you're doing by making a short-term decision that has grave consequences, such as breaking a family apart, such as throwing everybody in the family under the bus. Right? There's no way. There's only so much you can know. Why? Because you're a human like me. I'm talking about all of us. When we get caught up in their emotions, right? Calm. Listen to other people that are telling you to calm down. They're seeing something you can't see. Right? And again, this futuristic woke thing, we need to be careful with it. Make sure you're paying attention to the values of the past. Not everything from the past is good, obviously. That's why we progress in life. But you kind of need to know how to, wait, I need to take along with me everything that's good about the past. One of them being, in my personal opinion, the family structure. We literally have people saying, no, F the family structure, we're moving in the future. That's what we have today. I don't know if you are aware. In the name of being woke. Just everybody. Just do what how do we say it? Just do what you like. Do what works for you. That's what people are saying. And the world we live in was not built that way. There was some kind of structure. The world that you and I enjoy today, there was some kind of structure that helped us get here. So let's keep going. Let's get into a little bit more.
He actually did this because he felt that there were things that were great. We all love each other. But it is not normal to take those issues and to publicize them, least of all for cash. If he actually did this because he felt that there were things that were so horrific in the family that needed to be exposed, he would have done it for free. He would have simply spoken about those things in the public and not have been structuring deals for hundreds of millions of dollars with Netflix and tens of millions of dollars with Spotify to talk about his family. And so I feel sad for him because he simply married a woman that has taken everything from him. And I had wondered in watching.
This is the part where I disagree with her. Gentlemen, there's no room to blame the woman for your moves, for your choices. There's just no room for it. It's a weak play. You're a player. It's a weak play. Okay? You can't afford in the world that we live in to disengage from your power. You just can't. Women can even still disengage from their power to a certain extent. We will save them. Our society will do our best to, you can't afford it. You don't give away your problems. You can't afford to do that. If you have a problem, you need to own it. You need to look at it. Even when people, especially these ladies, will tell you, no, it's not his fault. They will tell you that. Even when they do that, say, yeah, I appreciate it, but what is the problem? I need to know, because I need to know what happened, what went wrong. You can't afford to give your problems away. It's a bad, weak move 100% of the time. Let's finish this up really quickly.
Watching him, whether or not he was looking and missing his family, missing his country. No man should be made to feel like a foreigner in his own land. And that is exactly the emotions that I got from Harry immediately following the coronation. He got right back on a jet to Los
That's not her
Angeles,
fault.
did not stay around to celebrate this tremendous moment. And his children will never have that memory.
Of course, Candace has a tendency to blame the woman for it. Some people will say the same thing about me, that I have the tendency to blame the man for it. It's not about blame. I hate blame, as a matter of fact. It's about me pointing out, listen, that's not where your power is. You need to focus on what happened. Don't make it, you need to believe that it's not your fault. You need to believe it's not your fault. Now, let's look at the problem. What went wrong? Right? Pointing fingers, you're losing power.
They will be able to watch it on TV, but they were not in the room. And yeah, I feel sad for him because family is of the utmost importance. All right, if you guys.
Yeah. Sense of identity. It's everything, okay? It's literally everything you've ever known. You're going to have moments of weakness in life. You're like, let me throw everything I've ever known away. Let forget everything I've ever known, right? Yeah, maybe you should talk to someone first, okay? Talk to someone first. You can exit temporarily to get some relief so you can see what's going on. Maybe he's done that. Maybe he's come to conclusion. Maybe. I doubt it. I doubt it. Okay. And I think they said he's always been rebellious in terms of he doesn't like the lifestyle that comes with the royalty and all that kind of stuff. Then maybe that means he's gonna be fine. If that's always been him, then he's gonna be fine. But I was listening to, my wife was telling me that somebody was on Auntie B's show that was saying, well, he's missing out on a lot. It's going to be a lot of testing moments for him into the future. That's the reality. Adebusola says, the living part I agree with. What I do not agree with is them talking all sorts about their family. Yeah. Exactly. It's the washing of their dirty linen in public. That's how they say that, right? I don't know. I always struggle with English language. Just help me. But yeah, we've got a couple more to cover here. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Let me know what you think. Do you think Ari did the right thing by moving forward? Okay. Do you think that no, it's a bad move. Throwing the family under the bus is a bad move. Or do you think well, I used to think it's the right thing. Well, I'm starting to question that, because if he's really moving forward, move all the way forward. Why did you show up at the coronation, right? Tell me what your thoughts are, because I'm just learning too. I'm just here to learn. I'll be right